Welcome to Keeping It Grounded with the Groundskeeper. This is episode 4, and joining
Well,
me
we
again
made it.
is
We haven't been canceled yet.
we don't have to schedule an apology episode
All
yet.
right. Well, not yet.
Yet,
So,
yet.
uh,
There's
so
still time.
yeah. So
Don't
that's
don't
Tanner. My name is Jr.
the Groundskeeper and PandaMan.
hmm And
Don't
welcome to episode 4.
don't ever estimate us. All right, we very
Don't
well
ever
might.
estimate us.
Don't estimate us.
Yeah, that was I saw a video that said the other day like the word underwhelm and overwhelm.
Mhm.
There's no just whelm.
There
So
is.
we're
It's an actual word.
perfectly whelmed for us.
Yeah, it's same thing with what is it? Gruntled.
Disgruntled and
Gruntled.
oh yeah, it's only disgruntled.
Yeah. The opposite of disgruntled is gruntled, and it means like content.
But it still sounds negative for some reason.
Yeah, no, it sounds like what a dog does when it lays down and it didn't want to lay down.
Yeah, that dog's gruntled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
All right.
small talk. What's going on with you, bud?
Not much. Oh man, I had some medical thing that happened yesterday, but everything's good. Very happy to be healthy. So, what about you?
Last night I freaked out because my friend was in the hospital and quit fucking replying to messages. So there's that.
Dude, my phone was on 5%. Like,
Whatever.
I was really trying to save it.
I would give you my last 5%.
I mean, I'll gladly take it. Your last 5%. But anyway,
little tiny bit of small talk for me. I've got a little bit of motorcycle gear coming, and it feels like Christmas. I've got some mounts, so I can get some interesting footage, like from behind. Or even setting it up to where it's kind of just like a side view kind of thing. It's gonna make some really pretty, especially with this new camera, gonna make a whole lot of real pretty shots available for this motorcycle content. So I'm stoked. I've got like 3 different mounts coming to
exciting. I mean, I saw your last time I looked at your account on, I think it's Facebook. You're almost like into 9,000 followers. I don't know if you've eclipsed it, but that's awesome.
Yeah,
So
it still
keep
keeps
it up.
growing. I've got I think one of a couple of my videos have hit over 1 million views, which is nuts. It's absolutely nuts.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and all I'm doing is doing the shit that I already love doing, and I'm recording it. So technically, I'm doing science. All right, so we have a subject for the episode, but before we do that, you had a treat for our audience.
Yeah, so before we start talking about I think we're going to do our trip report part 2 today, but I thought of a kind of like a short game that we can play for you because going back to last week's episode, we were talking about albums, and I was going to ask you to blind rank albums, like from 1 to 5. So basically, I'm going to give you 5 albums, and then you're going to blind rank them from 1 to 5, 1 being the best and 5 being kind of like the worst out of the 5, I guess. Right?
Okay. Just the least. The
least, yeah. Because
amazing.
I'm assuming you like all of these, but that's why it's going to be hard. You know.
All right. Okay,
all right.
And we're gonna have to. I'll have to figure out how to like make a 1 through.
Yeah,
5.
on the little when you do the reel. So
yeah. All right. Cool. All right. Let's.
Okay.
Let's go for
Ready?
it.
Okay. So the first one, number 1, Volume 1 by Amigo the Devil.
Oh my goodness. Oh, it's classic. I feel like you're gonna be tricky. So I have to set this one at number 3.
Number 3, you're going to set the bar.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm putting that right in the middle. I feel like you got a trick.
That's always the smartest thing to do. Number 1, the first one should be always number 3. All right. Number 2, Songs from Under the Sink, Mischief Brew.
Your dick. Man, that is in my blood.
Can you put that above or can you put it below Volume 1?
Only because Amigo has better albums than Volume 1, but Songs from Under the Sink is arguably the best album, in my opinion, the best album by Mischief Brew. So we're going to put that at number 2.
Number 2, okay. All right. Third album is I'm Wide Awake, It's Morning by Bright Eyes.
Ooh, crap, dude. I knew you were gonna be tricky because this does not fit under those. But I'm
Oh
waiting
yeah.
for something. I'm waiting for something amazing. But like that entire album will make this grown man shrivel into a just
Hmm.
a mess.
Yeah.
You did this on purpose. That's number one.
Absolutely. Ooh, number
That's
one.
that's not sorry.
Wow.
Sorry, I love Mischief Brew. I love Amigo. But because you gave me that album, I'm Wide Awake. It's Morning goes to number
So
one.
one, two, three already taken.
Yep.
All right. The fourth album, Rogue Taxidermy by Days and Days.
You knew exactly what you were doing. Oh man. I feel something coming that you've saved for last. So Rogue Taxidermy goes to the bottom.
Number five?
Rogue Taxidermy gets number five.
Wow.
I'm waiting for you to just throw exactly what I think you're gonna throw at me right now.
Well, let's see. Let's see. The last album is Folk Punk Stars by Six Steps In.
Oh come on, that's number five. Oh, that's okay.
Well, no.
I technically
We
I
can
can't do
change
that,
it.
so-
Number four.
Okay, for blind ranking, that's number four.
All right. So number one, we have I'm Wide Awake It's Morning. Number two, we have Songs from Under the Sink. Number three is Volume One. Number four is Folk Punk Stars by Ours Truly. And number five is Rogue Taxidermy by Days and Days.
Okay, and you know what? We've done the blind ranking, so now I'm gonna really rank. And honestly, based on all that, I'm Wide Awake It's Morning actually still sits at number one.
Wow,
It
really?
still sits at number one. And I'm actually gonna leave 2 and 3. Just swap 4 and 5. And it's just because I don't want to be masturbatory. I love our album.
Masturbatory is always funny.
I love our tracks. I'm a huge fan of our tracks. Our tracks in our album, in our the song that is the album name, we mention Mischief Brew and Days in that song.
That's right. That's right.
So they're clearly above.
Question: do you ever listen to it?
I don't like listening to my own music, but I will when I'm showing other people my music. If somebody asks to hear my music and I'm not actively playing, I will play it and I will listen to it. But no, I don't go out of my way to listen to my own music. I feel odd about it. I mean, and not only that, but when we're actually recording, when we're in the studio, we have to listen to our own song. Dude, like
Over
each
and
one
over
like
again.
100 times.
Yeah.
I've had it at that point. I've overdosed on my own voice.
Oh, pun intended, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
For what's coming. All right, now, well, we're trying to we're gonna make this like a weekly thing where it was either a short game like this, a blind ranking, or something like that. So it should be fun moving forward. But that's our first one.
That's a surprise to me. I'd love to do this weekly. All right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna jump right into this trip report. This one is titled "A Tale of Nudity, Arrest, and Insanity."
All right.
So the substance of choice by the report writer is Datura, Jimson Weed, which is a plant that actually grows out in areas around here in the desert and in the more deserty valley areas of Southern California. I mean, it grows everywhere. It's a weed, but it's inside of its seeds are an alkaloid that have deliriant properties. There's a little rhyme that people, I'm probably gonna mess this up, but there's a little rhyme that people use when they talk about Datura. It's can't see, can't spit, can't pee, can't shit, and that's
really
a common
funny.
occurrence when you take this substance.
So you're unable to do any of those things, basically.
Right.
Any
Right.
excrements coming out of your body is out.
Yep. Okay. So the writer's name is Crystalline Sheen. His dose was 150 seeds by mouth, and his body weight, their body weight, I'm assuming it's a male, is 175 pounds. All right, here we go. Here's a life-changing experience for y'all. I was just rereading the stories in the Datura vault, and I decided that my experience would be one that the folks would like to read. So let's go back a ways to August 22nd, 1998, a date that will live in infamy for me. At the time, I had just finished my first year in college, and I had been working with relatives in Mississippi that summer to save money and go to work as a roofer in New Mexico with a college buddy. My father thought I was wasting my time dropping out of college to go roam about the country, but I was ready to get out of my home state of Louisiana and take to the road. The road led to Dallas, Texas, where my buddy, we'll call him Lucifer, was staying with another friend, we'll call her E, for a time. The plan was for me to leave Mississippi, go home to Louisiana, and storm out to Dallas, to be free from the clutches of home for the first time in my life. The day I left Louisiana for Texas, I felt a tremendous surge of freedom, almost orgasmic in its implications. It felt like I had been released from a kind of prison and was ready to hit Dallas and party for a week before heading to New Mexico with Lucifer. That's it.
That is one hell of a sentence. Yeah.
Yeah. The stage is set. I arrived in the sprawling metropolis and experienced the debilitating effects of the worst heat wave in the city in years. Temps were up over 110 with the heat index. You're fine. It's hotter out here.
Mesquite's finest.
Yeah. That's a good day in July in Mesquite.
Right.
Okay. It was god-awful hot. Y'all, I make my way through to scramble to E's apartment she shared with her mother, a cool hippie type. There, I reunited with my good friends, and we chill and get stoned, catching up on each other's summer adventures up to that point. Eventually, we feel like going out. So Lucifer goes off to visit a girlfriend, and E and I go to her boyfriend's apartment complex to go swimming in the pool. I put on my shorts, placing my wallet and keys into my luggage, an action I was very glad I did later on. And we went off to take a nice cool dip. We arrive, I meet E's boyfriend for the first time, and we splashed around for a while. As it starts to get dark, an impromptu party erupts around the pool. A keg gets brought out, everyone proceeds to get messed up, Texas style. The complex seemed to house many college-aged party kids, so there was just partiers coming out of the woodwork. All different kinds of folks, from gangstas to rave kids to cowboys crowded around having a mellow time. But this benevolent vibe didn't last for very long. A couple people pulled out knives, and I hear someone saying, "He's got a gun!" So everyone scatters. That's a
nice knife, but he's got a gun is kind of funny.
Right. This knife identifies as a gun.
Yeah. Oh, God.
We'll all run into E's boyfriend's apartment and escape the carnage. Inside, everyone chills out, and soon the bong's going around and the beer is flowing again. I check out the motley collection of people around me. I didn't know a soul, but everyone seemed to be fairly cool and ready to seriously get down. I had no idea that one of the party attendees was about to unveil something for which there were no words, no explanations, just a magic plant that takes you to the edge of death and pushes you right over. That's right, kiddies. Enter Jimson Weed onto the stage. Now, I was familiar with Jimson Weed, having read Carlos Castaneda's experiences with this plant ally, but I had no idea what awaited me. This guy pulls out a gallon-sized Ziploc baggie about halfway filled with some kind of seed. This, everyone, is Jimson Weed. It'll make you trip for like 2 days usually. I charge $40 for a dose, indicating that a handful was a dose. But I'll dose anyone who wants to for free. I think that's from it didn't make a good point to do it, but I think that was the guy saying.
I have might be a dumb question, but how do you actually take this?
You're luckily, unlike a lot of other plant medicines, so to speak, this you can just take the seeds raw and you can just consume them. There are safer, better ways to do that. Yeah, there are safer, better ways to do that. There are extraction methods where you use solvents and you pull out the alkaloid, the active alkaloid, and it's better for you. No matter what, you're in for a time.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, in this instance, he's just taking a handful of seeds, which, man, that would mess my stomach up, just the seeds alone. All right. Good God. When someone starts handing out drugs, I'm usually the first in line, but the earlier violence outside and the fact that I knew no one there kept me from swallowing the seeds that the dealer handed me. I decided to wait for my friend Lucifer to return from his girl's house to see if he wanted to trip. A couple of the other fellows immediately swallowed their handfuls. In retrospect, after reading hundreds of trip reports on the substance, this guy's recommended dose was way too much. I don't even think calling this a heroic dose is doing it justice. I sit and watch to see what the seeds will do to these guys. Then after about 10 minutes, I'm like, F it, and down the seeds with a swig of beer. 5 minutes later, I know I'm effed.
Oh.
One of the guys starts to stare at the wall, unblinking, unresponsive. His behavior is weird because earlier he had been very lively, but now he was catatonic. I mean, this guy was out of it. People started to get worried. When the guy suddenly comes to, he leaps up and dashes out the door. Later on, the guy said that he had realized he was in for the trip of his life, so he went to his apartment, locked himself inside, and spent the next 2 days destroying his place and locked into the worst form of
Oh my
insanity.
God.
Yeah. The other guy stood up like the other dude, but started to run into the walls as hard as he could. Everyone tried to restrain him, but it was like he was on PCP or something.
Like Juggernaut from X-Men who's just going through
Yeah.
it.
Ah! Um, oh shit, I thought. I'm about to become very effing deranged. It was a horrible feeling, and a few minutes later I started to get the worst stomach cramps of my life, and my body told me, "You've just poisoned yourself badly, and you might not make it." I got very scared, and I ran into the bathroom where my stomach proceeded to turn itself inside out. I think this action probably saved my life. After I was finished, I had this feeling like I had I had drank a couple cases of beer, and my legs were so wobbly I couldn't hardly walk. Every muscle in my body felt flabby and loose. I returned to the living room where I felt concern from people. E was repeatedly asking me, "Are you okay?" I tried to tell her I wasn't, but my tongue wouldn't work. At, at about this time, I started to feel like there were insects crawling around under my skin.
Oh no.
An extremely uncomfortable sensation. It was so bad that I began to claw at my flesh in order to rip them out.
Oh my God.
The last thing I remembered was leaping off the couch and running out the door, then blackness. I don't know what happened. It was like being in a dream. Entities swirled around me. I had a vague sensation of being around people, but my memories of this time are kind of like recalling a hazy dream. Nothing was substantial. Finally, I woke up. It was morning, and I was in an apartment lying on the floor, curled up in the fetal position, naked. How I had arrived at this particular point in space and time was a mystery to me. My eyes were dry as a desert, and my contacts were sticking to my eyelids, making everything look real fuzzy. The odd thing was, it was like I had woken up into a dream, but I was aware that the dream was conscious reality, but a dream nonetheless. I felt incredibly happy and full of elation. Suddenly, I was aware of human presences entering the room. Intrigued, I studied them to become aware of their intent. One of the people seemed to be an average middle-aged man, but to my surprise, the other two were wearing uniforms and were armed. Why, it's the police, I thought. But why are they here? What's going on? The police came over to me and started to ask me questions. I couldn't tell if they were real or not, but I jabbered my jaws in a manner resembling speech. And they I love that sentence. And they seemed satisfied with my answers. One of the officers gets a bed sheet from somewhere and wraps it around me, toga style. I thought I had changed into someone from ancient Greece and couldn't figure out why my hands were being cuffed. Surely the Greeks need their hands free. I was led out into the bright sunshine when I realized just how thirsty and sensitive to light my eyes were. I was just having the greatest time getting arrested. It was like I was aware this was happening to me, but I was so far away, it was like, it's a dream, and I'll wake up back in my bed in Louisiana. So I went along with the officers to see where they would take me. Along the way, I tried to make jolly conversation from the back seat, realizing that I'm being arrested. So tell me, gentlemen, what exactly am I being arrested for? They wouldn't respond. Oh well, I thought, and continued my conversation with the other people in the back seat with me. It was weird. I was talking to this guy in the back seat, and he promptly disappeared. But I really wasn't disturbed by this. The cops continued to ply me with questions like, which day is this? The year? Who's the president? And other such inanities? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I answered them with all with gusto and personality because I wanted them to like me. In response to their question, so what drugs do you like to do? I responded, well, I just got really drunk at the kegger last night, officer, and I just don't know what happened after that. Now that I look back on that, I'm glad I instinctively knew not to admit the fact that I was blasted on Jimson Weed, therefore saving me 3 days in a psych ward. I pull into a giant structure located in the heart of Dallas, which is the Dallas County Jail. I was led into the heart of processing, and I was convinced that I was in an airport for some reason. With all of the hubbub around me, my toga kept falling off, revealing my nakedness to hundreds of people, but I was so far out there, I didn't even notice until the cops kept pulling the sheet back on. After the volley of fingerprinting and paperwork, I was led into a single cell and given an orange jumpsuit to wear. Man, getting locked into a cell while mad on Jimson Weed is something to behold. I immediately realized my situation and got serious in a disassociated sort of way.
Wow.
It was the first time I'd ever been to jail, but the emotional impact of this was lost on me, as I was totally oblivious to everything. It was like the feeling you get when you know you wake up out of a deep sleep. You know that out of it feeling? It was just like that, except 100 times stronger.
Mm.
I tried to get my faculties in order, but was tripping so hard still I couldn't do anything but wait. This is nuts. I couldn't imagine being in jail and
So
being in
yeah,
this.
now that I'm kind of curious, like obviously this is kind of like his anecdote about the taking it, but how was he able to remember in detail what happened if he was
So
like so out of it?
so the thing with psychedelics, especially dissociative psychedelics, is the way that they, not always, but a lot of the time, the way they function in the body is drugs will have a peak and then they'll veer off. But
Hmm.
dissociative psychedelics will actually come in waves, with the first wave being the strongest, and then a drop, and then it comes
Oh,
back. So it's more about like moments of clarity within that,
mm,
where things are less insane. And he's
okay.
probably remembering it, with lenses. Like I'm sure it's not
Sure,
a lot
sure.
like that, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's where you can still remember things
So
when you're
basically, it's
talking.
just like and stories from whatever he remembers, how he remembers it, and so whether
Right.
it's actually accurate or not is something that we don't know. But
Right, and
okay,
the closer to a dip in the effects of the drug, the more reasonable
the
his
more lucid you
recollection
get,
would be.
yeah.
Right, but then of course it comes back. I think I was put in my cell at about 8 in the morning, and I stayed there until about 10 o'clock at night. It was like I turned on my survival mode and even ate the shitty prison food because I knew I needed to keep my strength. As the day wore on, I started to come back to reality and started to worry about exactly what I had done to get here. Had I killed somebody? Attacked someone? I had no idea of the seriousness transgression that had landed on me here, and no one would tell me. Finally, at long last, a jailer came and let me out, handcuffing me to a group of about 10 other people. Okay, people, it's time to go see the judge. All right, I thought. Now I get to find out what I had done. After arriving in the courtroom, the judge scrolled down to the list, and finally, when she got to my name, I feared the worst: the charge. Disorderly conduct.
Oh,
Whew,
okay.
I thought. Doesn't sound so serious. I was elated in a way. The next thing I know, I'm going through another set of corridors to stand in another line. The friendly jailer keeps us all there, joking about what we were all going to do when we got out. I bet y'all will all go get drunk, huh? He grinned and looked at me. What in the hell did you do? I don't know, but I got seriously wasted last night and got into some shit. Everyone laughed, as obviously I was on very powerful drugs and probably looked like shit. The jailer gives me some street clothes and shoes. I had been wandering around the jail all day shoeless as well, and miraculously lets us go. I was elated until I realized I had no money and no idea where I was, and was still tripping very hard. In
Mm.
jail, I had been surrounded by a lot of people, and I kept feeling like they were all still around me. I was at a loss of what to do, so I just set out walking. Spirits kept revolving around me, kind of like the way electrons surround an atom. As I walked, my trip seemed to grow in intensity. I recall myself just having great conversations with all my friends, then just realizing, wait, they aren't here. And then seeing another one of my friends walking beside me and renewing my conversation. I remember seeing Lucifer and running up on him to tell him about my experience so far. Man, you should have kept me from the cops. Like, what the F, dude? And he would just smile and then disappear. Eventually, I found myself rapidly walking out of town into some weird area, the kind of place I'd normally be paranoid driving through at night, sober, not to mention on foot, out of my head on Jimson Weed. Amazingly, I felt no fear as the spirits surrounding me revealed themselves to be my guardian angels. They were spirits of my ancestors and of people I had never met. I somehow knew they were going to help me survive this experience and keep me from harm. I decided to walk back into the city, and a new problem manifested itself. As I stated previously, Dallas was in the middle of a heat wave, and I was so desperately hot and thirsty. Earlier that summer, I had suffered heat exhaustion, and I felt my body slipping back into that state. My survival instinct kicked in, and I managed to keep myself hydrated by drinking out of water sprinklers and gutters. I knew if I didn't keep
Ah,
myself hydrated, I would die. I imagine,
Jesus.
I imagine that a lot of the thirst was directly caused by the Jimson weed. That stuff just sucks it out of you. I finally reached a point after walking around the city for several hours that my body just needed rest. So I found a spot under the overpass with a spectacular view of the city. I went to sleep, and I woke up at dawn. Immediately upon waking, I resumed my walking. My delirium seemed to be increasing as the day progressed and the temperature
Mm.
climbed. That's terrifying.
Yeah, it's good. After a nap, it got worse.
Yeah. Um, it seemed like I just couldn't keep enough fluids in me, and I thought I was slowly dying. Suddenly, I had a flash of memory. I remembered the name of the street that E's apartment was on. Encouraged by this recall, I asked everyone I ran into until I was pointed in the right direction. It's about 6 miles that way, someone said. 6 miles, man.
Mm,
In that
that's
state.
yeah, that heat.
Wow. Yeah. There's 6 miles in this heat along the side of the main expressways in the city. It was like the Baton Death March?
Oh, okay. That's a reference to the Philippines.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
we'll have to cover that. I don't know what that
Mhm.
means. I knew that I was in a struggle for my life and there was no more water to be found. I knew I was getting very close, but the heat exhaustion claimed me, and I knew my situation was getting critical. I called upon my guardian spirits to help me, but they were nowhere to be found. Out of the blue, I hear a cry. Hey, man, come over here and get some water. You don't look so good. I looked to where the voice was coming from and spied a city work crew, and a black man was waving me over to their water cooler. At first, I thought these were imaginary people like all the rest, but then I took a swig of water and realized that the spirits had saved me once again. I looked at the man who had called me over and realized that his spirit was one of the ones that accompanied me since I had gotten out of jail. He was like a redeeming angel. I gushed thanks to him and asked him if I was close to the street I was looking for. Yeah, it's right over there, about a couple blocks up. Eureka, I was going to survive after all. I stagger the rest of the way to the street and then follow it to the apartment building where E lived. I went to her door and knocked. Lucifer opens the door and totally flips out. We were very glad to see one another, as they all thought I was dead. I don't remember anything except falling onto the floor in a dead faint, aware that I had made it through the most trying event of my life. Here's the aftermath. That was his trip. That was his experience. Okay, the aftermath. It took me about 4 days to get back to normal.
God damn.
Yeah.
4 days is a lot. Yeah.
It took me. Okay.
But granted, he did say that the dosage he took was like too
more
much.
Than heroic.
Yeah, more than heroic. So, okay.
Man.
But lucky to be alive, I guess.
I had to use a cane to walk for about a week after, as my body had been smashed like it had been in a motorcycle accident. Evidently, I had fallen repeatedly during my blackout phase. I pieced together what had happened to me with the help of people who had been at the party. Seems that I had jumped up out of the apartment, took off all my clothes, and spent the rest of the evening jumping in and out of the pool, accounting for all of the abrasions and lacerations suffered from banging into concrete repeatedly. What got the cops called was that I started to go up to people's apartments, stark naked of course, saying that I am the Terminator, and then laughing gleefully and running away. So I didn't do anything too bad. The worst thing that came out of the entire ordeal was that E's boyfriend got kicked out of his apartment because of my behavior. Turns out the guy who had been with the cops when I came to was the apartment manager, and that my arrest was enough to kick E's boyfriend and roommates out. Pretty weak reasoning, but shit happens, I guess. Surprisingly, the boyfriend and roommates weren't really mad at me, saying it could have happened to any one of us, dude. I was decent and helped them move their shit out. While I did this, I had all these people who lived in the complex make comments like, "Fucked up, weren't you?" and "Nice ass," and shit like that. Hey, I would have laughed at me too. I will never do Jimson Weed again.
There you go.
And I am glad for the experience. If any of y'all do it, be out somewhere far away from civilization with plenty of good trip sitters, and prepare to have 1 foot in the land of the dead and one in the land of the living for about 3 days. This experience changed me as much as my first acid trip did, but this plant will make you realize what death is all about. It was said that Jim Morrison, known for his seemingly superhuman ability to consume substances without any ill effect, was permanently changed by this weed, as was I. Be careful, y'all, and stay away from this stuff, because its trip is a death trip.
Wow. What?
That was good.
One hell of a story. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried it?
No, I've always been just severely fascinated by the idea of that, and my reasoning is having an experience like that feels like it would make every other problem in life seem so minimal.
Sure.
Like going through that, you can be like, the lights are off. I'll get it next month. Like,
yeah. That's really funny. Wow. Well, as we go here, I would just like to let everyone know to be responsible if you're going to try any kind of things like that.
Yeah,
Be
absolutely.
responsible.
Use we read our trip reports off of arrowwood.org. There's tons of useful resources and information. If you're going to be using any kind of substances, first of all, I mean, make sure you're in a good spot in your life, but also make sure you got people who care about you and do research. Take care of yourself. Harm reduction is more important than abstinence. We're humans, and we've been experimenting with our minds for most of our existence on this planet. If you're gonna do it, do your best to be smart about it, and make sure that there's at least somebody there who's willing to take you to the hospital and is sober enough that they're not going to get in trouble doing it.
Yeah, yeah. Don't do it together.
Right? Yeah. You need
Yeah.
you need a you need a sitter. Real quick before we move on to our last little segment here,
Hmm.
we're gonna probably keep sprinkling in these trip reports. So if anybody wants to hear about a particular substance, put it in the comments or reach out on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm open. If there's something that several people say they all want to hear about this particular substance, I would love to
Mhm.
dive into that.
Also, if there's anything you would like us to blind rank, or for Tanner or me to do it, I mean, I could do it too, but for Tanner to do the blind ranking, that would be great. Let us know in the comments.
Cool.
But
Cool. All
yeah.
right.
So
So,
are you ready for a song of the week, Tanner?
oh yeah, you want me to go
Yeah.
first?
Yeah. What do you got?
Okay, my song pick of the week is a cover.
Okay.
The song is Enter Sandman, originally by
Okay.
Metallica,
Hmm.
but the artist who does this cover is Joshua Quimby. Oh my goodness, this track is fantastic, and
Okay.
his vocal fry, ah,
What is the style?
very very kind of folky, a little more
Oh,
Americana.
okay. I gotta check it out. What was his name? Oh,
Joshua,
we'll
yeah,
put it on the thing.
yeah, we'll do a little thing, but yeah, Joshua Quimby, Enter Sandman.
Okay.
All right, what you
Excellent.
got?
For me, I have a song called Frank Sinatra by Cake.
Ooh,
Um, I saw Cake with you and Brandon years ago, and I think Colin was there too, right?
yep,
Years
yep.
ago with that's how I was introduced to them. I really enjoyed that song. It's been on repeat for the last week, so I hope you guys enjoy that. It's a good time.
Whenever I remember that show, I wonder if the person who got the tree, because Cake handed out a tree during their show. It was
A
like an
little
apple
plant,
tree.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
They do it every show.
That is phenomenal. I wonder if the
Mhm.
person who got the tree that day, if it's still alive.
I hope so. I mean, that's
Yeah,
the
dude,
whole
that
point,
was
right?
years. Dude, that was like 8 years ago.
2018, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
eight
eight
years
years
ago. Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
Nice. Okay,
And
cool.
we
Well,
also saw what's his name? Ben Folds. That
Ben
was another,
Folds,
yeah,
and he was fantastic too.
super talented dude. But
Yeah,
anyway,
it was too bad that the audience had to do Regina Spektor's part instead of her being there because her voice is nuts. I love her voice.
yeah, she's great.
Cool. Well,
Okay,
I think
I
that
think that's
wraps it
it.
up for us this week. Yeah,
Yeah. So we've made it to episode 4 and not being canceled, so that's good.
for
So
now.
hopefully episode 5 would be better.
Cool. Well, hey, thanks everybody for watching, and
All
we'll see
right.
you next week.
See you guys. Goodbye.
Goodbye.